We picked pecans from those trees our whole lives. Then I learned 14 people were hanged on them. My father bought the 7 pecan trees the year I was born, and I swear to God, they've hated me ever since. That's the only way I know how to put it. It's not a feeling you can explain without sounding crazy. It's like walking into a room where people are just screaming at each other. The silence is there, but it's loud. Under those 7 trees, along the muddy banks of the Tres Palacios, the silence is deafening. When I was a kid, I never got pecans from those trees. The squirrels would strip the others bare, but they left the 7 sisters, as my mom called them, alone. The nuts that fell were always rotten from the inside out, black and bitter. My dad said it was a blight in the soil. I think the soil is just poisoned. I knew something was wrong with that place, truly wrong. But it took my best friend Mateo to finally put a name to it. It was junior year, we were talking about places to camp for a weekend, get away from our parents. I suggested the grove by the river. The look he gave me, I'll never forget it. It was like I'd suggested we go sleep in a morgue. No man, not there. He wouldn't even look in the direction of my property. He just stared at his beat-up sneakers. My abuela would kill me. She says that ground is soured. Soured? What are you talking about? It's just trees. No, Kalen, it's not. He finally looked up, and his eyes were dark, serious. Mateo is never serious. My family, we've been here a long time. Longer than yours, longer than the town even. Some stories, they don't get written down. They just get remembered. I waited. The air got still. That land, he said, his voice dropping to a whisper, it belonged to a man named Aurelius Thorne. Before the war, the big one, my family, they worked for him, not by choice. He didn't have to say the word. I understood. Those 7 trees you love so much, they weren't for shade. They were for lessons, Thorne's lessons. My blood went cold. The weird feelings, the rotten pecans, the heavy silence. It was all starting to click into a shape I didn't want to see. What kind of lessons, I asked, but I already knew. The kind you only have to teach once, Mateo said. My great-great-grandfather, Zebediah. He was a boy then, 6 years old. He watched Thorne hang 14 men from those branches in a single afternoon. His father, his 2 brothers, everyone, just gone. I felt sick. My stomach twisted itself into a knot. No way. That's a story, man. You're messing with me. He just shook his head. The look on his face wasn't angry. It was old. It was an ancient, settled grief that had been passed down like an heirloom. Zebediah only lived because one of Thorne's own men, a cowboy named Silas Croft, snatched him up and rode him out of there before it started. He was the only one left. I never looked at those trees the same way again. They weren't the 7 sisters anymore. They weren't the 7 sisters anymore. They were gallows. The story haunted me. It burrowed into my brain and laid eggs. I went to college, decided to major in history, partly because I felt like I had to. I had to know if Mateo's story was real. I spent a summer interning at the county records office, digging through brittle yellowed papers that smelled like dust and death. And that's where I found it. Not a direct confirmation, but a breadcrumb. An old property deed transferring a massive parcel of land from the Thorne estate to the county in 1894. A parcel that included my family's land. The real break came from the most unexpected place. The Thorne family is still around. Old money, powerful. They'd decided to turn one of their ancestral homes, a crumbling plantation manor that had been vacant for decades, into a private museum, a vanity project. They hired a few local history students to help clear out the attic. Cheap labor. I was one of them. It was hell. 150 years of heat, dust, and rat shit. We were pulling up rotten floorboards in what must have been the master bedroom. Under one of them, tucked away in a lead-lined box, was a leather-bound journal. The leather was cracked and peeling, but the gold leaf initials were still visible. A.T. Aurelius Thorne. My heart hammered against my ribs. I hid it in my backpack. I know, but I had to. That night, I read it by the light of my desk lamp, my hands shaking so bad I could barely turn the pages. His handwriting was an elegant, spidery script, but the words were pure venom. He wrote about his defiance against the Union Army, his rage at being told to free his property. He called them animals, chattel. Then I got to the last entries. August 9th, 1865. A dispatch today from a Captain Elias Vance, United States Army. He demands I release my laborers, as if they are his to command. I have replied that a man's property is his own, protected by God and law. To take it is theft, and I will meet bandits with the force they deserve. August 11th, 1865. Another letter. The threats are clearer now. He will send troops. He will confiscate my land, my profits, my life's work. This Yankee dog thinks he can break me. I will not be broken. I will concede, but on my own terms. And then, the last entry. Chilling. Final. August 12th, 1865. The Lord gives man dominion over the beasts of the field. He also gives him the strength to put them down when they are rabid. What I do tomorrow is not murder. It is sanitation. It is the cost of order. There was nothing for August 13th. The page was blank. But he started writing again 2 days later. August 15th, 1865. The blue-bellied cavalry arrived this morning. 16 of them, reeking of sweat and self-righteousness. They asked to see my laborers. I informed them I had set them free, per their captain's directive. They were gone, I said, headed downriver to the sea. The fools believed it. They saw what they wanted to see. A problem solved. I felt like I was going to puke. I took pictures of every single page with my phone. The next day, I went to the Thorn matriarch, a woman who looked like she was carved from old, angry wood. I showed her the journal. I told her what her ancestor had done. She didn't deny it. She didn't even flinch. She just took a long, slow sip of her iced tea and looked at me with cold, dead eyes. Some histories are private, Mr. Kalin, she said. Her voice was like gravel. You are hired to move boxes, not to disturb the dead. Your services are no longer required. I was escorted off the property. That night, someone broke the passenger side window of my truck. Nothing was stolen. My wallet was there, my stereo, but my phone was gone. And when I got back home, the journal, which I'd hidden under my mattress, was gone too. No forced entry. Nothing. Just gone. They can erase the words. They can bury the proof. But they can't change what happened. They can't fix the ground. Aurelius Thorn died a rich and respected man at 78. There's a statue of him in the town square, smiling like a goddamn saint. A pioneer, a builder, a pillar of the community. 14 men whose names are lost forever were butchered by him. One little boy saw it all and had to carry it for the rest of his life. A story passed down in whispers because the world wasn't ready to hear it. I'm writing this on my laptop, sitting on the bank of the Tres Palacios. The 7 pecan trees are behind me. It's a calm night, not a breath of wind. But I can hear it, faintly. The creak of heavy rope straining against a branch. Mateo was wrong about one thing. He said the trees were the ghosts. They're not. They're just the weapon. The ghosts are still here. They've been sleeping. And I think, by digging all this up, I might have just woken them up.